Alright everyone, we're back with another episode. This is BGPen85 and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking McGregor versus Dustin 2. First a little recap of my last two events. My first and only bet on Holloway versus Cater was 1.5 unit on Austin Lingo at minus 212. That cashed. Next bet was on the last card with Neil Magny and Chiesa. That was a max bet or a 5 unit bet on Leron Murphy at minus 220. That also came through. And also we had a max bet on Ricky Simon plus Evloev, and Ricky Simon came through. Easy win with a submission victory over what was his name? Girello, I don't even remember. So that was hopefully we will Evloev won't shit the bed, so that's another 3 units. So hopefully we can get up to 7 units. That will be pretty nice. I also have another bet for my Patreons. Hopefully that cash also, so we can get into 10 or maybe 11 units. But so far we're at least up 4 units. Let me just tell you something, guys. Straight from the hip or straight from my heart. Okay, so these guys, just so you know, I just want things to be clear, okay? These guys lurking around, these YouTubers, I don't know who you're paying attention to or who you're subscribing to. UFC, Bro Picks, DFS by the numbers, Half the Battle, Die Hard MMA, you know. Don't misunderstand. I love these guys. These are entertaining guys. I often tune into these channels myself, but you need to kind of separate the entertainment stuff from the betting stuff. These guys are not known to be, good bettors among people who earn a living on MMA. Just look at, people's record here. UFC Bro Picks end up in red. Die Hard minus 17 units. Half the Battle ends up in red. They lost 8 units on Holloway versus Cater. They lost another minus 2.5 unit on this event. My job is betting on MMA. I can't be losing. I need to win on every event. Just go back and look at my record on BetMMA where I haven't even updated you guys with all of my bets. Although 13 events, 11 of them have cashed. All of the straight bets has cashed. That's 15 straight picks, 100% bet ratio. There is level to this game. Not only in the UFC, but it's also level to this game in MMA betting. So just continue to follow these guys. Half the Battles, the Die Hard. They're super entertaining. They're fun. Subscribe to them. But don't try to make those bets. Don't follow their bets. That's my point. Okay? Pep talk over. Let's break down some fights. Alright, so the first fight of the night, we got Salgas Zhumagulov versus Amir Albazi. Salgas Zhumagulov 13-4 coming into this fight after winning against Ali Bagatinov in Fight Nuts Global October 2019, and then he lost his UFC debut against Paiva. He has fought good guys: Tyson Nam, Tagir Lambekov, Ali Bagatinov, so he's a high-level fighter. Amir Albazi is more like a newcomer. He has fought okay competition, but he hasn't really fought the people of the level of Tagir Ulambekov, Tyson Nam. He has, though, faced Jose Torres, which is a good fighter, which was in the UFC, got a knockout. He lost that fight by decision. I think he looked okay. I just think that Salgas is a little, not much, but just a little bit better. He has a little bit more refined striking. I think that if Amir Albazi takes Salgas down, he will survive. And on the feet, he has better boxing, so he'll probably box Amir Albazi up. But obviously, if Amir can take this to the ground, find a sub, that may happen. I just don't think that's so likely. I just think that Salgas has already faced people like Tagir and Lambekov, couldn't really submit Salgas. So I don't really see Amir Albazi being able to. So the pick is going to be Salgas Zhumagulov, most likely to beat Amir Albazi by decision. But I don't think I'm going to bet this fight. I feel like it's a little too close. The betting line, in my opinion, is where they need to be at pick'em or evens. So that will be my final conclusion. Alright, so to the next fight, which is Lentz versus Mozart Evloev. Like I told you guys, I have a max bet or 5 units on Evloev together with Ricky Simon, so it's pretty obvious what I mean about this fight. I think that Evloev will come out, he will take the center of the cage, he will control the fight, he's the better striker, he has better grappling, and I just think that he will cruise either to a decision or maybe a late TKO. I don't think he will have any issues at all. I got him at minus 400. Is it valued at minus 500? I would be careful right now, but if you can get him at like minus 450, I think that's okay. It's generally a pretty difficult card for betting, so perhaps I also will like him at minus 500, but you need to be careful under minus 500, but I guess minus 500 is okay, but it's not ideal. So I think that's what I'm going to say about this fight. It's an obvious pick, and it's a bet on Mozart Evloev. Alright, Khalil Roundtree versus Marcin Prachnio. I'll be very brief with this one because it's so easy to break down. So, they're giving Khalil Roundtree an easy out here, or an easy opponent in Marcin Prachnio. I've seen his fights with Mike Rodriguez and Sam Malvi. Pre-tape, I was wondering how good he was because Marcin Prachnio, because his record isn't that bad really. His record is pretty decent. And then I started taping, and now I get it. I finally understood. Why does he getting knocked out? Of course he's got a bad chin probably, but his upper body is so erect. He's looking like he's doing boxing in the 1950s. He's standing in this awkward position and he looking weird to me on the feet, chin held up high. Of course he's going to get knocked out. This is the UFC. These are bloodthirsty fighters, poor fighters, some of them. So of course he's going to get knocked out. So easy win for Khalil Roundtree. The price is minus 300-ish. Have to be a little careful with that. And also have to be a little bit careful with Khalil Roundtree also having a history of getting knocked out as well. So I guess it's okay for a smaller sum in a parlay. I wouldn't play it straight. So that will be my conclusion. My pick is going to be Khalil Roundtree to win an easy first round knockout. Okay, Juliana Pena versus Sarah McMahon. Sarah McMahon coming into this fight after easy victory over Lina Landsberg. Juliana Pena coming into this fight after a semi-embarrassing loss in terms of losing by submission to German de Randamie. In terms of the fight, I don't really care in terms of me not having a clear idea of who's winning. I don't think it's possible to have a clear idea. I mean, what is it really to like about Juliana Pena over Sarah McMahon? I mean, does she have better wrestling? No. Does she have better striking? I say no. Is she tougher? Yes. Better cardio? Maybe. Sarah McMahon, she's a semi-flake. I mean, she, for some other reason, she's Olympic silver medalist, but she still is a flake mentally. So I don't know how that ever happened, but the odds, pick 'em. So don't see value either side. So I'm just going to pick someone. I'm just going to flip a coin. Maybe I say Juliana Pena wins by decision, just being more tougher and gritty. But in terms of bet, it's a no bet. But I choose Juliana Pena to win by decision. Okay, Brad Tavares versus Antonio Carlos Jr. This is a hard fight to call. I was actually leaning Brad Tavares first, but the thing is that he is coming off one year and 2 months left. That's not a big problem. That's pretty common among fighters, but he's coming from a reconstructive anterior cruciate ligament surgery. So that gives me pause. I think you can't really bet Brad Tavares. He's well-rounded. He should be better on the feet. I think he's really, really hard to take down. I think Antonio Carlos Jr. probably will have issues taking him down. I think, if I remember correctly, that his takedown defense is like in the 80-90%-ish. So he's really, really hard to take down. And from range, I guess he's would probably be able to pick Antonio Carlos Jr. apart, but at the same time, he's not been that active lately, so for me it's just a pass, because I don't really want to bet Antonio Carlos Jr. either, because I don't really think he's that good. Who has he really beat? He has beat Tim Boach, okay, Jack Marsman, Eric Spicely. He beat Marvin Vettori, but that was long time ago, way before Marvin Vettori was on this level we have seen recently. So I think ultimately it's a pass. What does the odds say? The odds will give you plus 0.5 on Antonio Carlos Jr., Brad Tavares minus 110-ish. For me, it's a pass. I know there's some sharp guys out there that like Antonio Carlos Jr. That's probably the right side. If you got Carlos Jr. at like plus 130-ish, I think that's perhaps an okay play, but currently at the current odds, it's just a pass. I'd say probably Antonio Carlos Jr. wins by decision, just because I wouldn't feel confident that Brad Tavares is back before I've seen at least one fight where he looks like him old self. So I'm going to pick Antonio Carlos Jr. to win by decision, but it's a no play. So to catchweight fight between Matt Frevola and Arman Tsarukyan. Boring fight, obviously. This was supposed to be a fight between Matt Frevola and Othman Aisatar, but for some reason, he gave someone a wristband to smuggle something in. I don't know if that was like an IV fluid bag or cocaine or what the fuck that was, but he was just let go by the UFC. Dana White seemed pretty pissed, so we won't be seeing that fight, Matt Frevola versus Othman Aisatar, ever again. Now he faces Arman Tsarukyan. The odds is completely gone. Obviously, it's like minus 800 on or 600 or whatever on Tsarukyan. I don't have any, there's nothing there for us to bet. I mean, decision is like minus 150, inside distance is plus 220. Maybe that could be something, but Tsarukyan isn't really a finisher, so just a fight that we should just pass, and let's just move on to the next fight. But it's obviously Arman Tsarukyan to win by something. Okay, Andrew Sanchez versus Makhmud Muradov. I think Makhmud Muradov is going to win, most likely by decision. Can't rule out a knockout. I had like this small play on Makhmud Muradov and Conor McGregor to win inside distance. That was when Makhmud Muradov was plus 100. I didn't bet a lot, maybe like 1 point or 0.2 or 0.3 units. Right now, the line is minus 140 on Makhmud Muradov. Don't hate that line. I think that Makhmud Muradov could possibly be deserving of being minus 200 favorite as well, because I just think he's a lot better than Andrew Sanchez when it comes to like movement, speed. His striking is more refined. He's more diverse. His wrestling is good enough offensively to perhaps score some easy takedowns just for the sake of scoring point. His takedown defense is decent. So yeah, I just think overall this fight will stand upright, and Makhmud Muradov is just too quick and has too good movement for Andre Sanchez. Andre Sanchez striking is coming along. He's become a better striker. He has, a serviceable 1-2. He really commits to his punches when he first go in for it, if that's what you're saying. But yeah, so Makhmud Muradov is the pick. Do I like him as a bet? Perhaps. I haven't made a big bet on him as of yet, but can't really blame anyone. My strategy for this fight or for this event is more sort of reserving what I already got. I cashed big on Murphy last event. I have a couple of parlays with Mosar Evloev, and I'm most likely going to win easy for 5 units on this event. So I'm not going to put myself in some spots I'm not 100% sure I'm going to win. I'm just a little bit boring that way, I guess. So I'm going to pass, but I can absolutely understand if someone going to play Muradov for 1 unit or 2 unit. Absolutely understand that. So the pick is going to be Muradov to win, I say, by unanimous decision over Andrei Sanchez. Okay, Amanda Ribas versus Marina Rodriguez. Ribas is minus 300, Rodriguez plus 270. Easy fight to call, I think, because I believe Amanda Ribas will win by decision. Marina Rodriguez will be taken down because her takedown defense is outrageous. She's a really good striker. She's got the advantage on the feet, longer reach, but her downfall is that she is tall, thin, and a little bit unathletic. And while her unathleticism doesn't really become an issue on the feet because she's technical, but being unathletic is a real problem when you're going to use your body fending off takedowns. She's not that. She has a C- body. Amanda Ribas, she's really athletic. So she's able to take down Marina Rodriguez even though she's going to get boxed up for 3 rounds. She will always get that takedown before she gets injured to the point it will look really interesting. Even though it will look a little bit interesting, and there comes the takedown. So it's an easy pass. Amanda Ribas will win by decision. Do not bet on Marina Rodriguez at plus 270 in my opinion, because she's just going to get taken down. She's too unathletic, too tall, too thin. We've seen this time and time and again. Neil Magny, all people that are tall and thin and unathletic, they're easy to take down, super easy. For some reason, being very tall means that you sometimes, or more likely than not, and more oftentimes, are unathletic. There are not that many very tall, thin, athletic people. How is Stefan Struve? Athletic? Fuck no. So this is a pattern. I've seen it 1,000 of times. Past this fight, Amanda Ribas wins by decision. Let's go to next fight. Okay, Joanne Calderwood versus Jessica I. Very close fight. Fight is probably going to the decision. The fight is a pick'em. Odds-wise, I think that Joanne Calderwood should be slightly favored because she is more diverse, using more kicks, throws with more volume. So I think that Joanne Calderwood is going to win, but Joanne Calderwood has outlanded many people, but also lost a split decision. So it's not like a foregone conclusion that even though she wins, she will actually win. Jessica is probably the better pure boxer. I've seen some guys I respect that has chosen to bet Joanne Calderwood, so that's definitely interesting. I think it's just a very easy pass. But if you really like Joanne Calderwood, maybe you should go bet her at decision. Maybe you can get like plus 150 or something like that. What is the line on Calderwood decision? It's plus 150, yes. So or 5 dimes, make believe lines of 5 dimes, more like plus 125 on bookies that doesn't fuck around. Yeah, so if you like Calderwood, go for a by decision at plus 150. I think it's a pass, but I'm going to pick Calderwood to win by decision. Okay, Hooker versus Chandler. This is pretty interesting because there's so many X factor in this fight. So from a betting perspective, I can just be honest with you guys, I'm not going to bet this fight. The issue here is that Don Hooker is a very good fighter. Michael Chandler is a little bit unknown. I mean, he's a good fighter. Normally, Bellator champions would make the top 10 in the UFC. Here I'm a little bit torn because Chandler hasn't really faced any good fighters except for Patricio Freire, and he got knocked out after like 1 minute. Benson Henderson, he knocked him out, but how good is Benson Henderson? Top 50, 60, around there. Sydney Outlaw, top 100, I don't know. Brent Primus actually dropped Chandler, which is another problem because Chandler sometimes get hit. Brandon Gertz, so it's hard to know where Chandler is. He is athletic, he is strong, he has fast hands, he has pretty good in and out movements, but can he be trapped on the outside against Hooker? Yes. It's just so many X factor here. I'm just getting dizzy. It's just you can argue back and forth. So I'm just saying, okay, I'm out of this shit. But I think you overall have to favor Dan Hooker just because, if you watched MMA for a couple of years, you will see that the people that are in the UFC are more battle tested. They fought a better competition. Normally, you should just lean towards them. So we have to lean Dan Hooker. Can he get taken down? Sure. Can he get knocked out by Michael Chandler? I don't think so because Dan Hooker is so tough and gritty and he has good chin. Can Dan Hooker knock out Chandler? Maybe, because Chandler doesn't have the chin of Hooker. But it's a 3-round fight, so Chandler can probably take down, or maybe he can take down Dan Hooker and just wrestle fuck him. But at the same time, Dan Hooker's guard is decent, but it's not that athletic. And now we're back again to talk about this athleticism, Dan Hooker, tall, thin. Does he have good takedown defense? No, he doesn't. So, I don't know. I'm just going to pass this fight. The value is probably on Dan Hooker. I'm going to pick Dan Hooker to win by decision. If someone's getting a finish, it's also probably Dan Hooker. So my pick is going to be Dan Hooker, most likely to win by decision. Okay, main event. Much like everyone else, I favor Conor to win here. The reason is that I don't think Dustin will survive. Why, you ask? Well, if Dustin gets trapped on the outside, I think the fight will look pretty similar to how the other Alvarez fight looked. If Dustin chooses to box in close, he will most likely lose that battle as well because Conor is faster, more accurate, and is just generally the better boxer. So the fight will most likely just look like the first fight, basically. So how can Dustin really win? Normally Dustin win by go to war with people, right? But how likely is it that Dustin go to war with Conor without getting touched? And how will Dustin's chin hold up? Dustin often do get dusted in round one. He's very hittable in round one. I found, the MJ fight, he got clocked. The first fight with Conor, he got clocked. And even in the Dan Hooker fight recently, he seems to be having the same issue as Cerrone. He needs to, get into the fight. He's a little bit stiff, rigid. He doesn't have that confidence. And he's much more likely to get hit. And then as he, fight himself into the fight, round 2, round 3, he looks good. And, he can see the punches coming, so he can take the punches. Maybe his opponent doesn't really have that power that he had in round 1, so he doesn't really seem so wobbly. But in the first round, Dustin gets dusted. So, it's, I just see this as a fight, a matchup that the UFC has really partnered up with Conor to force Khabib into making, the rematch so they can use the argument, oh, please come back, Khabib, honor your father's wish and become 30-0. So I made that bet on Conor McGregor to win. It's a double chance, it's a prop to win by TKO or decision at minus 212. So my pick is going to be not Dustin Poirier, but Conor McGregor to win in round 1, most likely. And that's it. So I will be coming out with a new episode next week because we got another card. And please subscribe to my channel. That helps a ton. Thank you and goodbye.